No, that tiny bit don't sound like that.
I like this one. I like this one.
Why would you make it in a bowl, Sarah?
No, I'm showing this is it. I mean, the amount.
No, just take a little bit. Okay.
Hey, that is what I made.
No, you know what? No, it's for you. Exactly. Say yeah. Don't use too much sugar, Maya. No, I didn't. It's Maya, so you're gonna holler about me crushing ice? No, Maya. Maya, stand. Take it back. running back in. Why? Charge. All right. Greetings and welcome back once again. I pray. All right. Greetings and welcome back once again. I pray everybody's doing well. This is Amuna. I'm thinking as to whether or not I should have got my headphones. Please let me know. Hopefully you should not be hearing anyone in the mic. We have the computer turned away. But for those who just joined us and who will join us, we're going to have this conversation about a video that I saw. I think I saw it yesterday or the day before, and I'm just getting around to talking about it because there are many layers to the video. And it's funny, I was coming on YouTube to talk about it, and I saw another content creator talking about it. So I listened in to hear what their perspective was, and then I do what I usually don't do, go up on the stage and have the conversation. Let me just say, shout out to that creator, YouTube content creator. But the conversation went left, and oftentimes I see that when we are talking about discussions such as this that may be triggering, it has the ability, the propensity to go left and get all conflated, and then we even forget what it is that we're talking about. So that's kind of what happened. I'm the type who likes to kind of identify one thing, even though I may, skip around if that's what I'm doing. But when I'm in a group of people, I kind of want the people who are listening and the people who are tuned in to walk away with something to consider and not be more confused than when they came. There was a whole lot of things said. Maybe I'll go into it after this, but this particular video, the woman is, I guess she's going to catch a baby daddy, I suppose. She's upset. I'm going to cue it. I know I'm probably going to have to play it a number of times for those who are going to join us in a little bit, but I'm going to just play it right now straight through.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child, but I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
They ain't my okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them
about?
my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't get my food stamps to the 7.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help him. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa,
them are his siblings
Lisa,
though.
He
not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating on McDonald's. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him eat
No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I gotta bring? So when I bring my son food, I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is that shit dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are they daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's?
So
you know I get food stamps on the 11th.
That ain't 3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine. What do
Yeah,
I look like? I bring
they're
my-
his
I
siblings.
bring him
You
food.
knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me.
No, the f- I did.
Yes, you did.
Hey, man, you expect me to take care of all the kids? They not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Why are you recording me? First of all,
Because I'm exposing you. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy.
I am a good daddy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with one fucking piece of food for one child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all then. He can't take that shit.
So listen what you
He
said.
can't eat it.
Maybe if you had one or two, I can maybe. You got it's 3 extra kids. What the f- you all like going to my motherfucking account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with? That's the one you gonna
Those
go
are your fucking kids' siblings.
They're my so that means I
Yeah.
take care of them.
So don't.
where's
No,
the-
I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring one something to eat.
I bring them food every other day. What do you mean?
Exactly, but you don't never bring food for the other ones. You know I get my food stamps on the
They
11th.
are babies.
Okay, but I'm saying we share the
But then
same
if you-
kid
if you
as
feel-
well.
Absolutely. So if you want to, if you feel away about eating, take him in the room and let him.
I'm not taking my
Or
kid in the
send him down
room.
to the car. He ain't got to eat in front of his brothers and sisters. He can come right out to the car and eat with me. Is that
No,
fine?
no. You know what? Fine. Give it here.
Thank you.
Give it
Grow
here.
up, bro. Like,
Give it
you
here.
know, kids,
Give
like,
it here.
You sound stupid.
Dumb. He ain't eating this. Fuck you.
Why would you just do that?
Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. You stupid. Stupid. Selfish as a like you're dumb as hell. You're dumb as hell. He not finna eat that shit. Dumb.
Take care of him anyway.
Dumb. He not finna do that. If you can't do it for all, don't do it for none of them. Bye, stupid. Thought I was finna take that shit today. Yeah, I had another thing for him today. No, he can't take it today.
All right, that was triggering. No, for those who just joined us, welcome to the conversation. You know we're gonna break it down. We have to break it down in true fashion and style. Let me know off the cuff. What are your thoughts on what you just saw? Like I said before you guys came, I was gonna do this video because I don't know if you saw it as well, floating around on social media, and I came across this other content creator, and I hopped on the stage, and I was just like, "What are we talking about?" It triggered the people or those who were on the stage, not even the host, into a whole different direction. I left that conversation saying, you know, the points that were brought up should be a different discussion, right? He went into the mother and women can't teach men anything. I'm like, what? Where are we going? Let's stay on the topic. Let's stay on the topic. So we're gonna see what Judah is saying. We're gonna play this again, and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna comb it through. You know, one thing about some of these topics, like I said, even the short discussion I had before I came here, was that if we are unhealed in our experience, we talk to the audience and we try to get the audience to get on that unhealed bandwagon. And the danger is when you're talking to a very broad audience. And so just a while ago, when I was on the panel, and he's like, "You're gonna go against what everybody's saying." I'm like, "Yeah, because I don't agree." You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem saying I don't agree. I don't care if it's a million people. I'm not going to be on the all women are don't have any sense and all women, or I'm not of that, you know, that people group, right? People are people. You have good people and you have bad people, and good mothers and bad mothers, all of that, right? So that reminded me of why I think I need to get out more, because sometimes, you know, people start talking in the echo chamber. But for those who just joined us, we're going to play this thing again, okay? Because I think there's a lot going on here. Judah says what she should have done was taken the food in secret, give all the children the whatever she made. Also, the other children are not his responsibility. That's the question. That's the question on the table. Do you think the other children are his responsibility? He should have had enough love for all of the children to have fed them. A hungry child is a hungry child, and a child that feels left out is a child that feels left out. I have a half brother. I was the left out. I actually saw him. So this is Judah. Judah sharing her experience of being that child that this mother is advocating for, not causing this division. She said, "I actually sat and watched him eat McDonald's as I had nothing to eat. I watched him get presents and had nothing." My condolences, Judah. My heart goes out to you on that one. It wasn't their responsibility, but a good heart wouldn't have done that. And that's what this conversation is about. So we're going to start from the top, and feel free to drop your comments in the box below. I'm actually going to share the link early because, you know, the only thing about this thing is you cannot stop the video while it is playing, which is quite annoying because then we keep having to start all over from the beginning. So let me drop the link early. John is in the spot. Yeah, because the McDonald's had all of them additives and preservatives. It was your protection, Judah. I'm with LF on that one. But it does leave emotional scarring, right? John says she was one of those selfish single moms I talk about when it comes to abuse. What did it say? Get to clean is selfish as heck. It's not the man's responsibility. So that's the question. Is it his responsibility? Let's listen again and listen for some context clues. And see what we come up with, because this thing is floating all over social media and it's triggering a lot of people. And I think that was her intent as to why she was videoing it in the first place. So let's go.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose the out of him so people can see how he really is.
Oh wait, hold on. Pause 1 second. Pause before we get into it. My goodness, man, why this? Because I loaded, it won't let me pause like that. So to me, in the beginning, she's quite aware, and clearly she has let this feeling that she has bubble up in her. I don't know if she's had the conversation with him before, but the way she's entering, the way the scene is opening, she's lay waiting this man. She's already pissed. He's done it multiple times. She says every day he comes and he does the same thing, right? So this is something that is repetitive, and she feels as though she is going to tarnish his image in the sight of the people because everybody thinks that he's such a good dad, but she has other expectations of him that he's not meeting, which is he should have consideration. This is what I'm getting. Let me know what you guys are getting. He should be considerate enough to extend his offerings beyond his child to the other children that are there, so that it doesn't cause division in the household. That I'm doing the translation minus all of the emotion out of it, but let's continue. Right? Mother says they both dropped the ball. I can't hear each other. Jealousy and favoritism is why Joe. That's exactly why. So what she's doing, she's doing something, but she's going about it in the wrong way. What she's doing is trying not to allow for this environment of favoritism to breed in her household. But I'm going to let it continue to play because I think that to a certain degree, she's trying to hold the man more accountable than she's holding herself. She has more expectations of him, the father of one of her children, than she has of herself. Judah says that's why some dudes walk away. I mean, because like I said, her communication skills are in the ash pot. Like, they're trash. There's definitely other ways you could have gone about this, but clearly, you know, the whole I'm gonna expose you on TikTok thing is what's going on right now. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'll come back to some of these comments. So that's my thoughts in the opening scene. This is something that has been festering. You know, this is something that she feels that she's not getting resolved on. This is something that she feels she's entitled to. And this is what's also going to cause some of the tension that we're going to see. And I must say of him, he kept his composure to a certain degree. Like, he could have, you know, and I think she may be pushing the envelope with him just based on the way she came at him with the video, because he is not hyper aggressive in this video, right? So she may feel as though she can push the envelope with him and come at him any kind of way to get the desired result she's looking for. But let's continue.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids?
Wait. I'm sorry. Y'all know this. We chopping this up. So you have a lot of other children, 3 other children. So the question that any normal viewer would ask is, where is the father for those children? And possibly what she's projecting, or what she's transferring, what they call transference. She's transferring all of the indifference, all the resentment, all the expectation from whoever else is the father for these children onto this one person, which in that sense, it's unjust, right? If you're looking for, because no one else did it, and you're looking for this person to do it because they're there, that's not just either. But the desire to say, hey, if you're going to treat the children, don't just treat one, treat everybody. I think that is a valid cause.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one.
Y'all gonna get mad at me today. Next question is, why is he coming every day to bring McDonald's? Why? That's another question for the father as well as the mother. Why is your child eating McDonald's every day? Side note. I'm gonna let it roll though. Let's go.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got 1 thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just 1 burger? 1 burger, 1 fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them
about?
my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the 7.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa, you had
Them.
Did you hear what he asked her? I'm sorry, y'all just bear with me. He asked her, you didn't feed him? Valid question. You have 4 children. This whole conversation is upside down. You have 4 children. Granted, you have different baby fathers. We don't know how many. We know 2 at least, at minimum. Okay? You give food stamps. How much food stamps do you get per month? You should get a substantial amount. Why is it that your children, that you are not preparing the meals? What is the need for the father to bring fast food? I could see if it was one time where he treated the child, but you said out of your own mouth that he's bringing this every day. What is the need for him to bring fast food to the child every day? Why is the child not eating the food that is being provided by services? I forgot what the name of it. I don't know where she lives at, but whatever food supplementary program that you have, why isn't it that you're using that money to make sure that everyone in the household eats the same meal? Question. I'm gonna come and see what y'all got going on. I got a lot of questions. So like I said, she's doing to me a lot of transference from what her responsibility is over to him. And she's mad about everybody else not showing up. So the person who does show up, you're going to dump on them. And in that way, she's wrong. She had a valid question. But even now that I'm thinking even further into it, why is the boy eating McDonald's every day? Let's go to the comment section. This ain't got nothing to do with a good heart. It's the other brother's dad's job to take care of the kids. You should have never gotten pregnant by. No, but he impregnated her. So if you come and see other children on the other side of the conversation, you see other children there, you already knew what it was. So you can't just be like, oh, she got pregnant by him. He impregnated her. She didn't just drop on her back and then just started catching semen. He impregnated her. So the responsibility is in his hands, that if you want your child to grow up in an environment that's not going to be one that's going to be troublesome because of the dynamic that you're presenting, then a wise person will be like, yo, let me not start any beef because I leave my child here every day. But let's continue. Judah says, oh no, Judah, he's gonna keep doing it to get, yeah, he sounds like he gonna do it. He like, I'm gonna roll around here and bring one McFish. Watch, he needs to get full custody of his child. She's a trash mom who wants to make him to be the villain. I mean, yeah, she's questionable. And it's a real occasion. It must be a blue moon or an eclipse, where I agree with John. But this mother here is questionable. This is not how you deal with your family issues. We the people don't even know what's going on. So I don't know why you appeal to the court of popular opinion. You can't just give us a clip and say you're going to malign the person and then put it all to blast it on social media. Like, that's off, because that's the father of your children, and you guys are going to have to maintain some relationship. So even if you respected your child, you want him to respect your children, but to a certain degree, you disrespected the father of your child by putting this on social media as if, you know, he was doing something horrific. Is it questionable? Could he have made a better choice? Yes. But the way in which you handle it shows that there's a lack of respect. So it's two wrongs at this point. Yeah, she had her methodology is off. I agree with mother. Her methodology is off. Afro says, is it just one father buying or more? That's the question. It looks at this point that it's only one. And like I said, I think she's trying to hold him accountable for everything that everybody else is not doing. Terrible conflict resolution. In the community, there is no conflict resolution. I mean, the classes need to be taught, okay? Because we think that this is how you resolve conflict. No, this is how you make more conflict, okay? LF said, I think people exposing people on TikTok is how I'm. If we see LF on a TikTok talking about waiting at the door, talking about I'm gonna expose, we know where he got it from. Let's see. He offers to, who said that? He offered to isolate the child. And Afro, I mean, but she refused. She refused because it's on, you know, children. First of all, you come back with your breath smelling like anything, the children are gonna know. Right. So even if you isolate him, it's not, the children gonna smell McDonald's on his breath. They're gonna smell the fries and they're gonna run up on him, and it's still gonna cause a problem. Like, where was you all this time? What was you doing? It's still gonna cause an issue. You know, it's still gonna cause an issue. I can't wait. McDonald's is not food. Yeah, that's a PSA right there. No, okay. John is saying that's the best he can do for now. With McDonald's, most people eat out every day. Anyone's child costs what? The child don't cost that much. But secondly, yeah, people eat out every day is off. This woman has 10 children. The same way he stopped at McDonald's, he could have stopped at the supermarket. He could have stopped at the produce store. He could have bought a bag of rice. He could have bought some beans. He could have bought something that was going to stretch. So not only will his child eat this meal for lunch, his child will also eat tomorrow. So miss me with that's the best we could do. It's because we are not employing the skills that we have or don't have. You should not know how to cook. There's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, even if you don't know how to cook. Your mama didn't teach you, your daddy didn't teach you, your granny didn't teach you. How to stretch, how to feed a family on a budget is a thing. So I don't agree with that part. I knew it was a blue moon and the blue moon was over, John. I don't agree with that part. Yeah, favoritism does breed animosity, and singling out the children does cause problems. Right? She got EBT. There's no way from month to month you hard up like that. Like, and I'm gonna tell the truth. Sometimes I'll be at the supermarket and you could tell who has EBT. And the stuff that they're buying is why you don't have any money till the 11th. Like we're gonna hear her say, you're not buying stuff that you're gonna make sure that the children are eat. You're buying prepackaged food. You're buying sodas. Not everybody. I'm just talking about some of the ones I see down here, and I'm not just talking about melanated people. I'm talking about all people. You could tell. You could tell. Okay, because the cart be like piled up to the top, and I'm looking in the cart because I have that propensity to look at people's cart, and I'm like, where's the food? All cardboard boxes, all prepackaged things. So this mother is mishandling, as the mother of 4 children, based on her confession, she's mishandling resources. She's mishandling resources. Correct, mother. That's the same thing I said. Financial literacy. Why isn't the assistance lasting? That's the same thing I'm saying. That is the same thing I'm saying. Ain't nobody eating DoorDash, John. Let's not deflect. No, don't do the Serena and Venus out here. We're not playing tennis. Let's stay on point. Let's continue. Let us continue, shall we? My point is they could make better food choices that would help with the fact that she is not having enough money at the end of the month. Somebody is not using their resources properly. So how many? I don't know. Somebody tell me, because somebody told me before how much money. I saw it on the other chat when I stopped over at the other platform. How much money is that if she's getting a food supplement for 4 children? How much money is that? How much does that equate per month? I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
them
about?
my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the 7.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa,
them are his siblings
Lisa,
though. He not finna eat in front of all his other siblings, and they're not eating on McDonald's. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him out to the car. I'll let him eat
No. He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I gotta bring? So when I bring my son food, I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is that shit dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are they daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one, you need to bring it for all. How do that shit look that I'm letting one child eat McDonald's and all the rest of the kids can't eat no fucking McDonald's?
So
you know I get food stamps on the 11th.
That ain't 3 kids that ain't mine. 3 kids that ain't mine. What
Yeah,
do I look like?
they're his siblings. You knew what you was getting into when you had a baby with me.
No, the I did.
Yes, you did.
You expect me to take care of all the kids? They're not my kids.
Okay, but you still had a baby with me who have kids with other people. I still have other kids.
Why are you recording me?
Because I'm exposing. Everybody think you such a motherfucking good daddy.
I am a good daddy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit in this bullshit. You only come here with one piece of food for one child.
The child that's mine, silly.
No, that's dumb that you can't feed the other kids. Don't feed nobody at all. Then he can't take that shit. He can't eat it.
Maybe if you had 1 or 2, I can maybe. You got it's 3 extra kids. What the? You all like going to my mother account, spending money on all those kids. Them not my kids.
Them are your kids' siblings, though. Dumb.
So that's what you gonna go with. That's the one you gonna.
Those are your fucking kids' siblings.
They're my. So that means
yeah.
I take care of them.
So don't. No, I didn't say you have to take care of them. You can bring them something to eat if you bring one something to eat.
I bring them food every other day. What do you mean?
Exactly, but you don't never bring food for the other ones. You know I get my food stamps on the 11th.
Your babies.
Okay, but I'm saying we share the same kid as well.
Absolutely. So if you want to, if you feel the way about eating, take him in the room and let him.
I'm not taking my kid in the room.
Send him down to the car. He ain't got any brothers and sisters. He can come right out to the car and eat with me.
No. You know what? Fine. Give it here.
Thank you.
Give it here.
Bro.
Give it here.
Give
it here. Done. He ain't eating this. You.
Why would you just do that?
Because you ain't bringing up for all the other kids. You stupid. Selfish as a like you're dumb as hell. You're dumb as hell. He not finna eat that shit. Dumb.
Take care of him anyway.
Dumb. He not finna do that. If you can't do it for all, don't do it for none of them. Buy stupid. Thought I was finna take that today. Yeah, I had another thing for him today. No, he can't.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, we need to see you in the principal's office, Lisa. This was inappropriate conduct. He called her name, so now we know her name, Lisa. Yeah, inappropriate, honey. I agree with Afro. Being the underlying problem is not favoritism, it is communication. It is communication. I think this is a communication issue. And clearly, Lisa is unable to communicate her thoughts in a way that it maintains a level of respect. Um, Cursing the person, calling them all type of names because you're not getting what it is that you want from them after you lay waited them at the door and accosted them is just not a good look. This is a L. This is a L for Lisa. Okay, Lisa. There are plenty of videos, the same YouTube or wherever it is that you put this video on. There are plenty of people who are good with money and resources, okay, that can show you how to budget. If you are having more month than money, you're going to need to make it so that you have enough when you get to the end of the month. You're going to need to talk to him in a respectful manner because McDonald's is nothing you should be feeding your child every other day, neither one of them or four of them. And if you created an environment, he may just be the person who thinks that I'm just going to take care of your child, my own. Now, if you tell him and let him know, like, look, that's not a good look. It's either he's going to man up and make sure that everyone has, or he's going to step back and not bring forward his offerings of the McDonald's every other day. You see what I'm saying? So I think this is a communication issue, not an issue for social media. But since you brought it, we here talking about it. Let me know your thoughts. LF says EBT cut off if you make $2,000 a month. I'm about to go see how much EBT is because I know Lisa is getting more than $1,000 a month or at least $1,000 a month for 4 children. And if you can't manage to feed 4 children on $1,000 a month, I have to ask, what are you buying? And if you're buying stuff that's above, then you need to kind of rearrange your meals, you know what I'm saying? And buy things that are going to allow for them to be nourished and for your meals to stretch. And another thing, if he's doing this with food, then is he doing it with clothing and other things as well? I mean, this is just a messy, sticky situation. I'm not even going to stay long on it. But, you know, yeah, let me know your thoughts while I look up this EBT stat because I'm curious now. Let me see here. EBT per child. Let me see what's going on here. How much to feed? Let me see. I don't even know where she is at. What? Say what? Let me see what's going on here. Food stamps. How many? How much? Yeah, I know I'm nosy. How much? How much? I like to research. Does I guess it would depend on the state, no? I don't know. Just give me a number, people. Why are you hating on the kid? I'm trying to figure out where's Lisa going wrong. I mean, it's the entitlement for me, Lisa. A quick guide to SNAP eligibility and benefits. Let's go ahead and click this right quick. It's the do you understand? What are we arguing about over here? They gave me I know when I had an EBT in California, they gave $200 a month. Okay, that's for a single person. But I think they give more for for a family of 3, the poverty line, that's 130. There's a disability. I don't know how much. Let me see here. Calculating benefits. Oh, here we go. Okay, so a family of 5, estimated average monthly benefit for SNAP is $992. So almost $1,000 for the month. No, that's $250 for the week. Lisa, what's really good? What's really good? What are you doing with $250 a week that for 5 people in the household, like thereabouts, according to what that just said, that was 2022, that you're not able to make sure that thing stretches and that you short that amount? Again, I think this is just it's a complicated situation, but it's one that requires conversation, discussion. I mean, if the children are little, it's not going to go away anytime soon. So you people just going to have to learn how to work together better. And as I was saying before, I was coming on here to have this conversation, and I saw, actually is the name of the channel, Mr. Let It Go. So if you ever go over there, you might hear me like, "Is that Amuna?" That is me. I went on the panel and I just disagreed with some of the assertions that were being made, and it got kind of like, what? And I'm like, so how do we get over there? You know what I'm saying? How do we get, this is what people do. They take these type of situations and then they just smear it over everything that's going on in the community, right? And then we use it to like, typecast one person. Oh, that means all Black women are blah blah blah, and that's counterproductive. If these people came, if you were a counselor and these people, and you saw this video and they came into your office or they came into your space, they went to your wherever, how would you speak to them so that you can resolve this situation? Because a lot of time we just keep going on and on and on, but there's no resolution, right? We get in our feelings, and if it was me and da 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 da. Okay, now they have children. How do you? One of the things is she's disrespectful. Lisa's disrespectful, and she thought that was going to get her cool points on social media for throwing the food on the floor and calling the person out their name and doing all of that. It's not. It's just disrespectful. What is John arguing about over there? Anywho, with that said, let me know your thoughts on that. I did put the link in the box, but it's hot in the car. And so I'm gonna run this thing real quick. Let me know if you guys have any other things to share or say on this particular topic. Favoritism amongst children is a problem. It will cause issues for times to come into adulthood. Be aware of how you interface with children. They normally are going to have differences, but if we intentionally play favorites, it never ends well. Let me just say that it never ends well. Let me run this commercial real quick. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And John is over here talking about how much it costs to raise a child. It depends on where you are, and it depends on what type of parent you are. You understand what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that parents think children need, they don't need. Some of the excessive material things that teach children that everything is disposable and you don't have to work for anything you want, that ultimately causes children to go off course when they get older. Right? So we have 4 children. So everybody's talking like that. I'm like, yo, it's doable. But it really depends on the thought process and the mentality of the parents who are raising these children. So with that said, right. LF says, my homie just bought a PS5 for his son and can't pay his rent. That's a problem. This is what I'm saying. The parents have mixed up priorities about what children need, and the people running around with these stats don't know what they're talking about. I don't know where they're getting these statistics from. If you're talking about what the child themselves needs, some of the things that you're giving to these children, they don't need. They need you. They need you to be present. They need you to be active. They need you to give them the things that they need to grow as a whole human being. Right? Not the newest Jordans that cost blah blah, and teach them not to respect the value of work and not to respect the value of money, and how you get it. That's off. And this is why we have a whole class of entitled people who are walking around here thinking that life goes the way because their parents gave them the wrong impression. Wow, animals and no plumbing. Y'all must have missed me on that one. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all talking about trailer parks in Idaho. Trailer parks in Idaho. What are y'all talking about? I think another thing is some of the stuff that we argue about hypothetically, when you move through it, it's different. And I would say that more can be learned by moving through life than just pontificating about life. Like this video that we just watched, these are people fumbling through life without the proper tools to do life, right? But their fumble is allowing us to have the conversation. And I think just it would add value if we had real-time things and solutions for young couples. They look young. Why did he impregnate the woman with 3 other children? We don't know. We would have to ask blurred out baby daddy. We don't know why blurred out baby daddy did it, right? But clearly he wants to do the best quote that he can by showing up, but he may need to understand some other things that are unspoken so that he can create a better environment for his child. You know what I mean? And so that's the tip I'm on Afro being, and then I'm gonna roll out. One mother and multiple fathers, you would think the kids would benefit from all that, but reality is they get fragmented fathers and a whole father. Yeah, you would think so, but as I said before, we don't know where the other fathers are. But it seems that she's raining down on blurred out baby daddy face because he's the only one who's showing up. You can see he in his mind, he's like, "What you think I'm supposed to?" And she's like, "Yes." In his mind, he looks thoroughly confused. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking? In his mind, he doesn't understand that. You know, this is one unit. She and all of the children is one unit. They share something in common, which is the mother. So even if you are the father of one, you are not even concerned about your brother's siblings. That was her contention. These are your brother's siblings. So I can see both sides of the argument, but I think that budgeting, meal preparation, and a conversation would do better than who's right and who's wrong. Because in this situation, I think both of them have a ways to go. In some other cultures, mothers with multiple children from different fathers would benefit. Which the cultures, Nasha? Which cultures would that be? Because you know, I saw this girl one time. She was like, her financial plan was to have children from different men and then put all of these different men on child support. I was like, what kind of madness is going on in the world today? What kind of financial plan is that, sis? What kind of go start a business or something? I don't know what kind of financial plan is that, right? And I could say more. So some would say the father needs to come and get the child if the mother is unable, and he needs to come and put the child in an environment where he can take care of his needs and won't have to worry about this. What do you guys think? Should he just come and get full custody of the child and the mother has visitation so that this wouldn't be an issue? Do you think that will fix the situation? Nasha over here giving virtual hugs. Y'all stop today. Do you think he should come and take possession of the child? I saw a TikTok one time, and the man was saying that men don't really want full custody of the children. Please press the like button and subscribe, everybody who's tuning in. Do you think he should, blurt out baby daddy, should get full custody of the child? Because he did mumble something off about not being able to take care of them on his way to the car, but it was a little, fuzzy. And if he could, do you think he would want to? Because there are many men who would just want to come through and drop things off, but to be with the child, to rear the child up when they're very young, how many men actually want to play that role? Because one of the things that I disagreed with on the other channel was that women don't teach children anything. Women teach no one anything. I said, what kind of what are we in an altered universe? What are you talking about? Oh, maybe she teaches them how to cook, and maybe I'm like, you can't at one side say she teaches them nothing. That's all encompassing, nothing, and then proceed to talk about all the things that she teaches them, and then disqualify them because they are not applicable to life. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So I think it's our injuries that are talking. Males, with their mother injuries and father injuries, as well as females with their mother injuries and father injuries. Another question that was brought up is how many people in here to try to justify the statement have been injured by their mother? And one is using that to say that your mother doesn't teach you anything. That to me doesn't make any sense. Those two are not even, they don't go together. She can teach you something good or she can teach you something bad. Just because someone teaches you something, that doesn't mean what they taught you was good. Neither does it mean what they taught you was bad. But clearly, in this situation, these people were not taught certain things, they were not modeled certain things. And so they're doing, quote, the best that they can with what they have, and they look like they need assistance. But at least in this situation, he's accepting that the child is his, and trying to the best of his ability with the McDonald's single meal to show that he's interested. And all I'm saying is they both can do a little better. John thinks they don't want full custody. LF says some men be fronting and wanting custody. Yes, I don't know how many really want to deal with the day-to-day to discount what the mother does, right? Which a lot of people with female injuries are doing this in this day and time. To negate what she does, but at the same time not having the capacity to do what she does if she's doing it properly. To me, it doesn't make any sense. She doesn't teach. The statement was the mother doesn't teach. She only nourishes. What? Where are we getting this stuff from? Where is she getting this stuff from? Nasha says in some cultures, children belong to the husband after the age of 7. So in some cultures, and it'll be interesting to look at which cultures of these. You know what that is? After she has done the dirty work, after she has brought the child up, after she has potty trained, after she has instilled certain things in the child, and the child is more manageable, then the man comes in and tries to do. But even at 7, it's still a young, tender age where if things are not put in place, then that child could be compromised going forward. I would always say that both the child needs a balance. They need a representation of the feminine and the masculine in their growth. If you have too much masculine energy, even if it's coming from the mother, like the women who it gets me when they hold the child's hand and yank up the child, and that's too. What are you doing? That's too rough. What are you doing? If you have too much masculine energy put into the child at a very young age, it can be detrimental, as well as if it's too much feminine energy. If you're coddling the child too much, if you're not holding them accountable for their actions, and this can come from a father and a mother. Feminine and masculine can come from either party, right? It can come from a father or a mother. If you're coddling the child, you're not holding them responsible for the things that they're supposed to do. If you're letting them escape by doing foolishness, whatever it is, be male or female, you're also spoiling that fruit, so to say. Okay, Mother says she thinks she knows which one you're talking about. That would be interesting to look. I know there are some what's the name of the culture? Not polyamorous. They're polyamorous, but they're also it's not polyandry. I think it is polyandry. Where in India, there's a place where I was researching where there's a limited amount of land in this high mountain region in a place far off in India somewhere. And in order to make sure that everybody has land, because there's not a sufficient amount to go around, they practice polyandry, where the woman is with 2 brothers. That's crazy. Not even just 2 men, 2 brothers. That way, where is the mother for these children? Where is their mother? See, I'll be out here these little boys from next door. The little boy just walked all the way clear to the street. Get your behind over here. Sorry. In this culture, they have multiple men. This little boy over here, he's too close to the street. They have multiple men who look out for this one child. So I don't know if that's what Naasha is talking about. If not, then she may need to, let us know. Kids at the age of 7 don't need much nurturing. Are we serious? They need masculinity to balance out the last 7 years. Are we serious? Kids after the age of 7 don't need much nurturing. What are we talking about? We're gonna have a parenthood class. Madness. Men, I agree with that. Afro being, if he conceives with food without boundaries, then where is it going to end? Let's assume he doesn't bring any more McDonald's. Is that going to solve the issue, or something else will come up? I think something else will come up. Because I think if it's not food, it's going to be clothes. If it's not clothes, it's going to be toys. Essentially, if he opts at any time, I think just about the way she sounds, and I could be wrong about Lisa, but if he opts at any time to bring anything, then he needs to make sure he needs to bring for all or none. I think it's not going to stop until he brings for all or he brings none. And if he brings none, then he's a deadbeat. So he's really between a rock and a hard place. And yeah, children not needing nurturing after 7 years old is incorrect. That's incorrect. If you look at the growth process of we the people, 0 to 7 is the root system of our growth and development. That's where all of our subconscious thoughts and desires and everything lies. In that phase, the children need both, even in the first phase of development from 0 to 7. They need the masculine there. He provides a level of security, a surety, and they need the feminine there as well. When the children see both of these people, the male and the female, together, working together to make sure that they're okay, they feel secure. So at all stages of development, you need both, sometimes more increased and sometimes decreased. But to say that after that time they don't need it or they don't need much is not true. That's when they're going out into the world, exploring things, seeing if they are comfortable with their surroundings, implementing some of the things that they have learned, being in touch with their emotions and expressing themselves. I mean, I think we're disconnected from how we grow. You can look at how a bean grows and you can look at how a tree grows, but looking at the different phases of how humans grow and what we need in different phases, we wouldn't say stuff like that. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Let me know if anybody has anything else to say. This has been an interesting conversation. Okay. I'm about to go. I have some cooking classes this week. I did one today. It was awesome. Teaching some little children. We did mango and pineapple salsa and they loved it. So tomorrow I have another cooking class. So I got to go plan for that. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Oh, I forgot. Check out the Yummy Cottage for all of your seasoning and syrup needs. Where'd that little boy go? Check out the Yummy Cottage. Let me go ahead and run a commercial, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. You don't know I go already. This episode is sponsored by Yummy Curry Powder. Go on over to www.theyummycottage.com for your powder today. Thank you, Mother. Thank you for tuning in. Before we go, I see Naasha popped on. Naasha, what's going on?
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Greetings. Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
I just wanted to explain that a man, in case of a divorce, if the child is under the age of 7, he belongs to the family of the husband. It is easier for the wife to remarry again, because children in my culture could be a burden for the wife to remarry. That's why they try to, because the woman mostly moves into the family's household. Do that make sense? So that's why, when there is a divorce happening, the wife could leave the husband's family and then she can remarry again to another man's household. That's why, but if the children are under the age of 7, this is when she temporarily has the children. But after the age of 7, this is when she then, gives the children back to the husband. Because even I belong to the family of my father. I also have my father's name. And under the covenant of my father. My mother is just the womb will come out, but I don't belong to her. That's just what I wanted to explain properly. That's the
Okay, so
culture.
you're
This is my
saying
culture.
in the culture, after 7 years old, if she wants to remarry, she leaves her child and then she goes to without her child to somewhere else. So and she remarries there. And then who raises the children at your father's house?
Normally, the men, men normally remarry fast.
Right.
Men are very quickly to get a new wife. Exactly. So the men would marry again, the stepmother, and then the stepmother you know, would then step in and be the mother for the child. But the children in my culture, in the in the Ndao culture, all belong to the men.
Oh, my thing is
So that's
gonna
why,
thank you for
yeah. So even
thank
when, let's say you have a family altar, I also first I need to talk to my father's family because even in the spiritual realm, they are the one protecting me because we belong to the father. We don't belong to our mothers. No, that's not our culture.
interesting. That's something for us to talk about. That is interesting. Hopefully that answered any questions that anyone had. Um out there concerning what Nasha was saying. Would you like to share anything else? My computer's gonna die, by the way, so I don't want it to die on anybody. And do you have anything else to share?
Yes, I did my comment about in some cultures women do benefit of having multiple of husbands. I In some cultures, but very few one, if a woman have already children, it is a sign that she is fertile. And in some cultures, fertile women are very well, uplifted. So sometimes, um, mother-in-law would take such women and marry them to their sons, because they are not just going to birth children. So in some tribes, it is actually a plus if a woman has so many children.
So they would take the woman. So then, where would the husband be? Would he be? Would she be a widow, or would, or would she just? I'm not understanding. What would be the state of the woman for them to say, "Oh, you have a lot of children. Come." You know what I'm saying? Have some more.
Yeah,
Like what would be the condition of the woman that qualifies
I have.
them to do that?
I mean, if she already shown that, because you don't know if a woman is fertile or not after marriage. So in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of cultures, who do value a lot of children, well, sometimes some cultures children are they are very high valued. So if a woman already has children, that would of course take the woman and of course the children. But even in my culture, if a man marries a woman, he's also taking the children. So it doesn't exist that you as a man you marry a woman without the children. No. But let us say in my culture, single motherhood doesn't exist because the woman leaves the children to the men. So the baggage of children, I'm sorry, children are not baggage, this is not what I'm saying. But the children are always left by the men. This is just the way we are. So the single motherhood does not exist in that way. So the
Mm-hmm.
woman would then, of course, that would then take the woman and the children into their family. They would then know to be able to produce children. This is what it is
Which
all about.
okay, so
But I,
and you do remember? I think that's interesting to know. Hold on one second. Let me try to get this charger. This thing's gonna die. Let me get this charger. You do remember when we went over here? I think culturally, the laws or how people deal with it determines, like you're saying, what you end up with. Sir, put it over here. Put it over here. What it determines what you end up with, because here we see that just plug it out, son. We see that the culture was changed, and that's so that the responsibility stays with the mother regardless of what happens to the father. That was the way that the laws were set here in America. And this, I think, is contributing to the experience that we're seeing many people having. I think we went over that. Oh boy, this thing. Might plug it in, son.
exactly. Even in my culture, let's say in the olden days, let's say the woman was married and the husband died, the brother would then marry the brother would marry the wife of the deceased brother
Right. And
because
in
yes,
the Bible, that's called the Levirate marriage, where where that happens, so that she wouldn't be, because there's for those who subscribe to biblical teachings, there is remember the widow, remember the fatherless. So there's built within the culture, this consciousness that you're supposed to remember those who something has happened that disrupt their family unit. Can I have the stool, please? But because we're coming from a place where a lot of that stuff is uh,
Hello? Yes, Afrobean, that's true. The woman of the father's family is the one taking care of the child. Exactly. Hello?
let me know if I can be heard. The mic went out.
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, I told you the computer was gonna go kaput, so it did. I'm on the cell phone now. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes, but now in the modern days, we don't do it anymore. But even in the modern days, if the husband dies, the family is responsible to take care of the child. The wife can leave the child, or even if the wife takes the child with her, the family of the husband is responsible for the child. You can
Interesting.
even exactly. The family of the man is going to be responsible for the child. Exactly. The wife can remarry again if she wants to, but the children are going to be taken care of the father's family.
So do you
Yes.
think that this because the whole oftentimes responsibility of nurturing and providing for the child relies on the mother here in the West, that's contributing to the issues that we're seeing? Because we're talking about two responsibilities put on one person, and a lot of people that's talking about it act as if nurturing and taking care of the child and provision are one and the same, when you're talking about something that historically was something that two people were responsible for. You're putting it all on one person, and not even a family group or a village, one person, and then saying because you failed at this task, you're a terrible person. You understand what I'm saying? From what you're saying, a whole
Absolutely.
family would be responsible. And here we have the woman who's responsible for taking and rearing the children, for financially providing for the children and teaching them and doing everything that by herself.
It's
Is that
crazy.
like, it's crazy. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And yet we are here pointing the finger on the other side and telling, oh, you failed, you failed, you failed, when the whole system is not set up for success. Like if today you went to some men's family and say, hey, this is your child and you're responsible, they'll be like, what? I didn't make no baby. You know what I'm saying? That responsibility, even for rearing a child up, I think there's a disconnect there as well. What are your thoughts? And anybody else have anything to say, feel free to share.
No, you are absolutely right. It is too much for one person. Even in my culture, when the woman is pregnant, normally the mother-in-law or the sister will come in and help her with the rearing of the children, how to breastfeed. They wouldn't support her.
Yeah, I watch a lot of,
Yes,
well, I used to when I had time, but when you look at even African culture, West African, Nigerian, wherever, you will see that there are even built within the system, like what you're saying, even when the child is born, the mother, I forgot what they called it. I forgot what they call it in Nigeria, but she will go and make this honorable trip, and she will be within the household for a certain amount of time after the child is born to make sure her daughter is okay, and or her daughter-in-law is okay, and the children are okay, and to show her the things that she needs to do at this phase of life, right? And many people look forward to it, but in this space and time, All of those things, all of those supporting things are not here. They're not present. And I think it's also contributing to the breakdown in society. So again, it's unfair and unjust just to put all of the weight of child rearing from the village to one person. Right? And saying because you failed in this way, you're a terrible human being. I think people are people, and under enough pressure, anyone will crack.
Absolutely. 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 That's just what I wanted, to talk. I'm not saying my tribe is perfect. There are issues there, but this is the model that I wanted to present. But they're different tribe with different way they're doing things. But this issue of, of women carrying all the baggages is just, I watched a documentary about Japanese culture. And when Western men go to Japanese culture, those women who end up, as prostitutes, they're mostly single mothers. They're mothers mostly with children. So this issue of women doing all the things alone, it does not work globally in the world. That's all I wanted to
No,
say.
I
Yeah.
agree. It does not work, and it's not realistic. And even if we go back to the video, for those who missed it, that we just watched over, we went over it plenty of times. You are looking at the system not working correctly, right? People not being trained properly, educated enough, having proper models of how to act and how to behave, and the things that the supportive system that you need. Because those things are not there, people are cracking under pressure. So that person who otherwise would have been a better mother or a better father, they don't have the tools to do so. And we think it's just something innate. Oh, you had a child, so you should know what to do. That's not realistic. Just because you have a child doesn't mean you know what to do. Right? Afro
I feel
being
like
said,
this, but I feel like this
go ahead.
pressure is only on women because I feel like men have this luxury of taking their time, even until their 40s, to learn how to be good fathers. When it comes to women, even when they're 18, 19, they're expected to be perfect mothers. That's the way
Well,
I feel somehow.
they said possession is 9/10 of the law. So because she's the one who carried and bore and birthed this soul, this being, the people oftentimes are looking at her as the person who should know what they're doing, right? Because she in this realm, she takes the lead because this is her function. This is what she was designed for. And the thought is, because you were designed for this, to bear children and birth children, then you should know how to do it. And that's not always true. That's not always true. It doesn't come automatically for either party. Like in this case, the man thought bringing McDonald's every other day is being a good father. And there are many questions about that. Is that what being a good father is? He's present, but my question is, even in that drive up, he drove up and gave her the food. Why is he just dropping off the food and driving away? You know what I mean? Why was the little boy coming out something that was secondary to her objections? Why wasn't that, what I mean? There are so many questions to how we think parenting is supposed to look and what good parenting is, that, this is a whole conversation that we the people need to have. A lot of people are just winging it, man. Have no
But
idea what they're doing.
is there even good parenting? Is it that does parenting that look different in different cultures? This is where
Uh,
my problem is.
I mean,
Okay, we can.
some would say that it's subjective. Some would say that it's subjective. But overall, gardening, which is similar to parenting in many aspects, may look different, but principally it's the same. Right. Principally, it's the same. There are certain elements that you need as a gardener, whether you're in Africa, America, the Caribbean, wherever you are. There's certain principles that you need so that your crop can bear good fruit.
It's
And
true.
depending on,
Yes.
right. So I think at the core of it, good parenting at its core have very similar, no matter where you are, very similar characteristics. Nasha says, how
Yes.
would you know what it feels like to be a man if you're not a man? Afro Being, feel free to click the link. Good afternoon, Keisha. Welcome. Click the link, Afro Being, if if you want to come up, because sometimes typing, I must have missed that comment. Did Nasha make a comment about being a man?
I'm
I
not a
don't know. I
man.
don't know. They got it out for you, sis. I don't know. I
I'm
don't.
a real woman with a real woman vagina. I'm not one of those trans
Hey,
something. Did you watch the
hey, now
documentary?
yo, Nasha over here giving biology. I don't know. Maybe I missed that part. Did you say something about being a man?
Did I watched this documentary. Do you remember? Are you a woman? Oh my God.
Oh, did you guys see that? That documentary was a trip. That documentary was a trip. Okay, we got
So,
somebody who's willing to speak. Hold on. Oopsie. Hold on. Afrobean, I'm trying to add you to the. Oh, you're up. Wait here. Add to the stream. I'm on my cell phone, so rock with me. All right, welcome to the conversation.
Hey, this is Afro Being. How are you doing, Amuna?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Yasha? All right.
greetings,
So,
greetings.
yeah. So I just wanted to, I guess, provide commentary in when you said, and I know for most of the shows you do seem to intimate that women bear most of, or at least women exist in an unfair environment. And so my question was, I guess it's easier to make such a call if you are looking at it from a woman's perspective. But if you are not a man, how do you know the challenges that we exist in the same space that we're, that we live in?
If I did such kind of a comment, I'm sorry. This was not my intention to do if I trigger something. Let me explain what I was trying to say. What I say was, I feel like in some other cultures, in my own cultures, men have time to develop their manhood. There is a tribe even called in Congo, Lily people, where men have even secret village women where they can explore themselves sexually until they're in their 40s to then get married. So they do understand that men need more time to develop to be fathers and husbands. But women in that tribe, women at the age of 19 are already married. So we as women, we need to learn to be mothers already at a young age. Men tend to have more time. That's all what I was trying to say. Even in this culture, the way women are being blamed when they raise children wrong. Okay, even me myself, I was blaming my own mother. Until now, I'm starting to self-reflect on my own self, and then I ask myself, what, why am I blaming my mother so much? She was just 20 years old. So even me myself, I have been programmed to blame women for everything. I'm now trying to work on myself to have more empathy, to see women and my own mother as human beings who are also learning. My mother now is a better person. Now, in my opinion, she will do a perfect mother, but she's in the 40s. That's all I wanted to say. I hope I explained myself better. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but men have, in that area, men have privileges of having enough time until they're in all cultures, even in Arabic culture. Most men marry in their 40s or even 35. Then men start to get married. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for that.
Hello?
Thank you. Yeah, let me see if he's still there.
Yes, I hope I was successful.
He popped off. Maybe he'll pop back on. But hopefully that answered. I think that's a interesting and important point that you bring up. That when you look back at some of our mothers and you look at our age when we passed the age that they were responsible for a whole nother life, at 20, at 18, at 22, they were also children who didn't know what they were doing, right? And so, like you said, when you learn empathy, when you grow, when you elevate, when you heal, you realize that they were learning as they were doing. They were learning on the job because women don't have
Amen.
the opportunity to start having children in her 40s. You know what I'm saying?
And,
Because it's
and do
going
you
to
know
get
how
real
much I
sticky.
hated her? My own mother. Sometimes I will call her Emuna and start yelling at her and blame her for everything. How could you? Because I went through molestation as a child, so how could you do that? How could you? I was yelling at her. Until one time, a therapist said to me, she was just 20. What are you expecting? And this is when I stepped back and then I wrote down what did you did for me. She fed me as a child. Yes, that's why I'm here. That's why I am survived. She never aborted me. No. She stick into the marriage, even things were not well for her in her 20s. And she even told me, but now she's in her 40s. You know what, Nyasha, I think I was in depression in that marriage. But all of this Imuna is coming now in her 40s.
Right, right.
But but at this time, when I look at my mother, she was absent. She was depressed. She was in depression. So that's why, I just wish women can also have this time of, of being I don't know, a system where women can learn in the job with other women supporting them. Because I cannot blame my mother,
There's
you know.
definitely something needed. There's definitely something needed because the level of expectation, it is not easy to rear to it is not easy. Any of this part right here, if anybody tells you, oh, it is not easy to continually make sure that you have yourself together and that you're present for those you brought into the earth. It's not an easy task. And if you put on top of that any other external stresses, be it financial, emotional, mental, spiritual, you're going to have someone who is breaking under pressure. That's just a fact. And as you're saying, the way we are looking at what these women are doing, and it's not to give them a pass, what they're doing, what their actions are telling you is something is wrong. Right? Something is wrong with them, something is wrong with the system. They are under stress, they are under pressure, and it's going to come out in some way. Either it's going to be, you're going to internalize it, or you see a lot of women, a lot of mothers yelling and screaming and carrying on. That shows you that. But when they get older or when they become grandparents, you're like, wait a minute, this is not the person I knew when I was growing up. How many people could say, yo, this is not the person
Exactly.
I grew up with? Like, who are you? Because why? Those pressures that they had are no longer. I said to my children all the time, I don't know this lady. I don't know who grandma is. She knew, right? Because now it wasn't, they're like, Mommy, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't know this lady. This lady is a whole new lady right here. She's
Okay.
chill. She got time. But before, when it's your responsibility and everything falls on your shoulders, you may become a different person. So a lot of the trauma that people have experienced with their parents, father and mother, is because they were under an extreme amount of pressure that we as children may never have seen or could have understand at that particular time. So I think this is a good conversation. We at 122. I'm gonna go ahead and wind down so I can outline this recipe here and make sure I got everything for tomorrow. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This was a good session. Good session. Leave your comments and all that good stuff in the link below. And yeah, man, y'all learn to click the like and subscribe and come up here on the stage and have your thoughts and share. And we respectful and we learn and we grow, because I did get some things to consider from this conversation. So I thank you once again, and I pray everybody have a blessed day. Oh, Afro, your phone died. All right, next time come up to the stage and we'll continue. Okay, Queen T is giving us some parting thoughts. Some steps you can take is speak to elders. Absolutely. Absolutely. We missing our wisdom because we think the elders, even if they did it wrong, they could tell you how not to do it. Right? If they did it right, they could tell you how to do it. Take your time in relationships. That's one of the things that even in today's space and time, a lot of people are moving fast, boy. Because why? We are getting into relationships for very different reasons, right? Because we don't want to be alone, or we're codependent, or we need somebody else's energy, or whatever it is, or we see it's cute, it's hashtag bagels, or whatever the box that they be saying, right? And so people get into relationships for all the wrong reasons. We move too fast, and when we get in there, we don't know how to get out. And educate yourself. I agree, Queen T. Queen Tree is dropping that knowledge. Definitely educate yourself on the topic of children, of families, of relationships, of problem resolution, of you're going to get into issues with your mate. How do you deal with it? You know, because sometimes depending on the personality, you'll be at a standstill and you hurt the children, right? So I definitely agree that mother and father, we need training. Yep, grandmother is more different, patient, understanding with the children. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Again, I don't agree with these elders don't want the kids to do better than them. That's not true across the board. I don't know what is why do we feel comfortable just wrapping ourselves in a blanket of sweeping generalization? Do we feel warm and cozy? Does it justify our dirty behavior because we want to believe this thing? Some elders do and some elders don't. To say all elders don't, that's the problem that I had on the other conversation. It doesn't get us anywhere when we miscategorize. It's like going to the supermarket and whoever put everything on the shelf just miscategorized it. Oh, it's just all it's all meat and just threw it all up on the shelf. Stop miscategorizing everything. Yeah, with that said, thank everybody for coming in. Everybody have a blessed day.